Leslie, how are you?
Hi, great.
Good. Marielle, are we recording today?
Yes.
Let's get rolling. We're going to start as we always do. Tell us something good. Who's got good news to share? Don't be shy.
I closed a property I've been working on all summer, closed yesterday, and I'm happy for the weather. It's beautiful.
I love it. Congratulations, Leslie.
Yeah.
Gold team
Other-
closed on our largest deal yet, and this was somebody that walked in the door and said, "Find me a house."
I love that, Mike.
Yay.
That's awesome.
I've got an accountability group here in the Frisco Market Center that has committed to playing along to an attitude of gratitude for November. So we're focusing on shifting. Quick preview. Rebecca's teaching here in 45 minutes. We'll have a Zoom link if you want to join us. But we're shifting our attitudes by focusing on one good thing that is happening to us every day.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Leslie. Anyone else? Good news. All right, we're going to dive right in because we've got a lot to cover today, and I'm excited that Aly Flaningan-Napier is here. Hi, Aly. Thanks for being here today. A couple things, though, to hit before. We've got a ton of things going on in the market centers. Mountain Properties Weekly Lunch and Learn Contracts Series has a new time. It's 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. As Leslie just noted, Rebecca Fishkin is teaching in the Frisco office, Power Through the Shift. She's doing that on the 4th and the 11th. I think this means, 10:30 to 2:30 each time, 2 sessions. Everyone's invited. We've got a 10:03 for beginners class at Lindsay Morrow's IMAO in Granby. And there's an accountability mastermind and rookie real estate agent book club.
Where'd he go?
Everybody hold. We just lost Russ. That's a first, Kelly.
It's totally your first.
Sarah, it's on you. Take it up. Come on.
All right.
Take the ball.
There he is.
I'm so sorry. Did I, you all are still here, so that's a good thing.
That's
Are we still recording, Marielle?
Yeah.
All right. I don't remember where I was, but you got to keep the computer plugged in is the lesson on this one. So chili cook-off at Mountain Properties next week on the 11th. That's right after the lift next week. And Top of the Rockies is doing a in-person meeting as well. The regional rally for Keller, Colorado is coming up on Monday the 17th. And there's a blood drive at Top of the Rockies Frisco office on the 24th. And don't forget, ALC Clinic is later this month and holiday parties first part of December. Lots of stuff going on. I also want to remind you that as announced a couple weeks ago, Sahil Bloom will be the
Jay Shetty. Jay
speaker.
Shetty.
Jay Shetty, sorry. Sorry. Jay Shetty will be the keynote speaker at Family Reunion 2026 in Atlanta. And he is awesome. You'll want to Google him first if you don't know him, Jay Shetty, Shetty. And when you Google him, you will want to attend just like I do. On Sunday of Family Reunion, the entire agenda is on social media and platforms and AI and digital marketing. We're calling it Social Media Con. It doesn't really matter what it's called. It's going to be relevant to surviving in a digital world. And I can tell by Aly's smile that she's excited for Social Media Con, right, Aly? It's right up your alley. Ryan Leake, who was at Mega Camp last year, is going to be co-hosting this. And Ryan Leake is famous for asking his wife to marry him and doing so on the exact same day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Ryan Leake proposal, and you will be wowed by how organized this guy is. It is fantastic and also kind of heartwarming if you're into that kind of thing. Just announced CEO Summit at Family Reunion speaker lineup. I'm excited about Will Guidara. My son called me a couple weeks ago and said, Dad, have you ever heard of this guy named Will Guidara? And I'm like, of course I've heard of him. Will is, I cannot think of the name of his restaurant in Manhattan, sorry, but he's the author of Unreasonable Hospitality. And what's great about this book, Unreasonable Hospitality, is it's all about going above, going beyond, and doing something that's extra. And in his restaurant, I want to call it One Madison Park, but I think that's wrong. In Manhattan, they put into practice rather, this principle of unreasonable hospitality. And for us in Vail, in Summit County, in Grand County, in the mountains and the nice, beautiful resort towns of Colorado, we must practice unreasonable hospitality if we're going to win against our competition. So I'm super excited about Will. Neil Patel is going to be there. He's in the digital and marketing space. Jenny Wood, don't know who she is. Valerie Burton's a famous coach and runs a coaching institute called the CAP Institute. I'm excited about her too. More details coming soon on Family Reunion. A couple market updates I want to share with you. And these are national statistics with a little nod to what's happening in Colorado. And you'll get these slides later today. But just keep this in mind. The number of homes for sale continues to be higher compared to last year. September closed out at 1,000,001 units on the market and active. And if you go back to September of 24, you'll see it was 940. So a significant increase. And if you go back to September of 23, you'll see it's 700,000. And when you go from 700 to 940 to 1.1 million, that is a shift in our market. It is a big deal. Sellers are cutting prices in order to get deals to close. Colorado at 27%, and in this dark color, like Arizona, like Oregon, like Indiana, like some of the Southeast states, we are seeing more price cuts than other parts of the country. The darker the color on this chart, the more price reductions. In August, 20.3% of the homes, 1/5 of the homes in the US cut their prices. In Colorado, had more than average. So just keep that in perspective. Home price growth, appreciation, is moderating. So if we look at the rolling 12 months, in July, we were seeing 2.3% appreciation. And by the way, it's appreciation, not depreciation. So like the sky isn't falling. And yet you should look at this picture and realize that when we were selling real estate back in February of 24, we were working with people who were buying homes and selling homes with this idea that homes were going to appreciate at around 7%. And today it's around 2%. And that's a seismic shift in what's going on in the market. And something we have to keep in mind, folks, is that our clients think that tomorrow is going to be like yesterday. They don't think it's going to be like 2 weeks ago. So they're always thinking about the market relative to what's happening right now. 2.3% is what we're seeing. And remember, for those of you who are newer, 4.9 is sort of the typical trend line over history. So we are well below the trend line. And 4.9 is kind of what we like to see if things are happening normally. Anthony Smith, from a senior economist with Realtor.com, says, while national prices continue to climb, Local market conditions have become increasingly fragmented. This regional divide is expected to continue influencing price dynamics and sales activity as the fall season gets underway. I put my uncle's home on the market yesterday in St. Louis, Missouri, and he lives in a luxury neighborhood. The average sales price is about $1.1 million, which is a nice neighborhood in Missouri. And his home is one owner. He lived there for 30 years before he passed, and never did any updates to the house. When I pulled comps in his neighborhood, the 8 homes that have sold this year, all sold over asking price, also sold within 6 days on market. Some of the above asking price were as much as 20%. In other words, listed for 1.3, sold for 1.5. And that's all of the comps. It is a fragmented market because what's happening in one part of the country is not necessarily happening throughout the country. Does that make sense what I'm saying there? And this shows it community by community or city by city. By the way, I just shared a story about St. Louis. St. Louis is experiencing year-over-year change of home prices in the 2-point-something%. And Denver, closest to where we are, is showing year-over-year change of -3%. So there is a tale of multiple markets going on right now in real estate. I'll send out these slides. Congrats, Dots, for capping in October. Started paying us in October and capped within a few days. So great job capping fast. Congrats, Aly and Brooke and Ryan for doing same in Vail. Great job, everybody. Congrats to our cappers. All right, Aly's here. Can we spotlight Aly? Aly, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, are you sharing slides? I can't remember.
I can share screen, yeah, as I walk through some of these tools. It might be easier.
Okay, awesome. So Aly, you were just out in Colorado, and you've been actually in Colorado twice this year, sharing on AI. And today you're going to talk a little bit about AI as it pertains to listings, I think, right?
Yes.
All right. So you can do whatever you need to do to share screen or start talking, and we'll make this and we'll go.
Perfect. Thanks, Russ. Yes, I love Colorado. So you guys have had me a couple of times this year. I love being there. I wish I was there. I'm in Texas. So I'm in one of those places where it's still really hot and our market is not doing great things. So I would love to be in Colorado more often. But thanks so much for having me. My goal for today, you guys, was to give you some quick, tangible tools that you could use that weren't too complicated, that would be able to help you with your listing, specifically on the marketing side. So that's where I've seen a lot of questions in my market, and just when people are asking me to come and, mastermind with them is, how do we extend the life of our marketing when it comes to our listings if we have a longer days on market, keeping costs in mind, right? So everyone's trying to just double down and tighten up that bottom line as much as possible. So that was my goal for today, was to give you some of those practical tools. So starting off with our first one, let me share my screen here. Okay, starting off with our first one, it's aihomedesign.com. And I use this product for one very specific thing, and that is digital twilight photos. And why do we do digital twilight photos? It's the same thing that it's always been, right? We want to stop the scroll. So most people, especially in my market, I will say too on Zillow, most people, when you're scrolling through Instagram stories or you're on Zillow.com, you really want something that's going to stand out from the other photos to get people to just pause for 2 seconds and think about your house more than the others. So a couple of different ways you can do that. You can do what on my team we call the money shot, which is a photo as the number one photo not being the front of the house, right? So it's your money shot. It's maybe the completely redone kitchen. It's the master bathroom suite. If you don't have a money shot, this can be really difficult. Or if you have like decent curb appeal, right? This can be really difficult to want to switch out that first photo. So we like using twilights to stop the scroll, right? To capture the attention. So AI home design is the way that we do that. What I like about using AI for this versus we used to order them through our photographer My photographer cost, I actually wrote them down before I came on today. My photographer cost was $100 for 4 twilight shots versus with this program, it's $35 a month and I get 35 photos. So that's $1 a photo. And my credits roll over, although I use all 30. So I'll just go and I'll do front pictures, back pictures, forget just the first shot. We end up with like a whole sequence, anything that has sky. And it's really simple. You make your account, you come into AI Home Design, you go day to dusk. So photo editing, day to dusk. And then I'm going to hit let's go. And all I'm going to do is upload my photos. You can drag and drop. I have a couple in here, so I'm going to use one of these just for today. So you can see these are the ones that I edited. You can select your sky style. There's not a ton of options. I'll be honest with you. There's only about 4 or 5, but we've found that they work just the same. And so we go from our original picture to our twilight picture, right? And this just, again, stops the scroll, especially because on my team, we're coupling this with a strategy of doing like Facebook group drops. So really hyper local Facebook groups, we drop these photos in. And so you really want to think that people are on their phone consuming a ton of content, and just having highly saturated sky is enough to make people say, oh, wait, what is that? And you just need that 2 seconds, right? That couples with your caption and your hook and some of those other things, but just a couple of seconds there.
Aly, does this work best if your photographer did lights on during the daytime shots? Is that required?
Nope. It's all AI. All AI.
I didn't know where to put the lights.
And I'll tell you, so we do use our photographer shots to put in here. So we're using this on MLS as our first picture. However, we found that if you have one of the newer iPhones or like a nicer camera on your phone, you can really get away with that too. And making it a twilight shot for coming soon, if you really need something and to start marketing with imagery before your photographer goes out. So you could go get a shot of the house with your phone and the backyard with your phone, and the color saturation and the way that it edits it smooths it all out, makes it look like a more professional version, and people get caught up on that and not so much the quality of the photo if you're in a pinch.
That's great. Love that. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions on AI home design and how this one works? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, let me take you to my next one then. This is my new favorite fun thing. Okay, so this one is called App, and it's agentpulse.ai. If you just Google Agent Pulse AI, it'll come up. And this one is actually going to make reels and videos from your static photos. So this one was also a big game changer for us because our photographer here charges us, he gives us 3 reels for $150 a reel, but we don't really get say-so in the shots. Like, they're pretty cut and dry, right? So they get to make all the decisions while they're in the house. And on this program, Agent Pulse, I can do $50 a month, and I get 4 to 5 reels out of the $50 a month. And so this is great for those houses where it's either just not you can't get out there to film yourself, you don't want to pay the photographer cost, again, so many different reasons. And this is also a drag and drop of photos. So you upload your images if you're active on the market already. So if you're retroactively going back, you can upload your images straight from Zillow. So you don't even have to like re-download and put everything in. And then when you upload your pictures, you can change the motion on some of these. I'm going to show you what it looks like without the motion change, but you can change your motions and have some say-so in this. And you can also regenerate if something doesn't generate correctly. So you can do your music, your intro, your brand all in here. I like to use it just for the video, and then I go and put like a trending audio or a sound or something that's going to give me an additional algorithm boost. And this is one where we did it landscape. So if you're doing a reel, right, so an aspect ratio that looks like your phone, you really want to do that on more like Instagram, your stories, Facebook Reels. But these landscape videos, people often forget about them. These do really well on just in the Facebook feed, right? And you can put these on YouTube. We'll even double down and like add little blurbs of information in here or cut to agents talking in between these shots. And so what's nice is that when we are doing the 150 for 3 reels, they're reels. So this is a good way for me to go get another aspect ratio of the same house and be able to double down on my content without doubling my cost. So let me show you what, I'm going to mute this because the music is loud and kind of annoying, but it does have music. So it's taking the photo, but it really is making it look like the camera is zooming in, zooming out. You have instructions to pan to the right, pan to the left. It'll turn the fans on, which is nice. So it'll give it that movement. If you have a pool, it'll make it, you'll actually see in this one, we have a weird hot tub situation in the back of this house. It'll make it move the water.
I saw the palm trees waving.
Yep, the trees, you can see that little umbrella moves. So it gives it a lot of light movement. This is the best one that I've found. So when it comes to these types of videos, I was trying digital twilights and reels for a really long time before I landed on something that felt realistic. Here's another version of that reel aspect ratio. So again, it's taking the long photos. My only suggestion on this one is if you're going to go crop your photos yourself in like a Canva or just on your phone or whatever, because it won't give you the ability to decide exactly what part of the photo you're going to showcase when it crops. It'll just take the middle of the shot. So if there was something on the side you wanted to use, I would go take that.
Aly, Jerry's asking what this is doing to the relationship that you have with your photographer. She's specifically wanting to know if this irritates your father or your father, Freud, if it irritates your photographer, or do you have a provision in your contract that allows you to do what you want?
Good question. It doesn't irritate my dad, but my photographers, they also aren't irritated. But here's the thing. I think it's really important, and I tell agents too, I'm all here to empower you with AI, right? And enhance you with AI. And so when you're going to do things like this, I think it's really important that you, A, have those relationships, not just with your photographers, with all of your vendors, and B, that you're a part of their business planning and they're a part of yours. So our photographer is a local joint. They don't have a problem with it because our listing numbers have gone up significantly, which means our overall base spend with them has gone up significantly because we can use our VAs and our ops department to do stuff like this. And our agents don't have to necessarily be at every photography appointment, and they can be on the phone lead generating. And when you track those numbers and show the people that are working with you that this is what that does, my actual spend with my photographer went up this year. Same thing with my stager, because we got listings based off of all the different marketing things that we were doing, and this isn't going to be a solution for everyone.
Right. How much is this agentpulse.ai tool?
So this one is $50 for the month, and you get credits. So you'll get 4 to 5 reels in that month. And then there's different tiers if you need more. So that's just like the base one that you can pay for. $50, you'll get 4 to 5 reels out of it, which again is comparable to our photographer was the 3 reels for $150.
Okay.
Do those roll over? Yes, they do roll over. And I've never hit, I do try to use all of my credits on both platforms every month, just because it's a little reminder to us that, okay, well, we really could throw another reel for this house or do something different. The other thing that I really enjoy about this is you can cut them different ways. So sometimes I'll do a reel that's just the exterior photos, right? Or I'll take the twilight photos that I just did in the other website and put them into here to make my reel like really stand out, because then I'm stopping the scroll and I'm doing something interactive. So you can also stack them in that way, but I'll do just exteriors. So one reel, just exteriors. I'll do one reel that's just bedrooms and bathrooms. I'll do one that's just all of the money shots of the house. So you can also cut them different ways, which is nice. And then if you need to expand this out, or if you need to make this more engaging, if you saw me at the Rocky Mountain Summit, you could go put your little floating head on top of this and be talking through it, right? And so now you're layering and layering and layering, and now you can get so much content out of one listing, even if you sell it, right? Quickly, and you're not needing to do that for days on market exposure, just going and getting your face out there so your friends and your family and your sphere can see the kinds of product you produce, has been a big conversation starter with us on our team, for sure. Okay, and then my last one, I talked about digital staging when I came out in January. So if you hit that class, this is a little bit of a refresher. But digital staging is still a big one for us. This is not for every listing, and this is not for everyone. Like I said, my stager is happy because our cost with her actually went up this year because the more you can stop the scroll and make sure that your listings aren't sitting because of a marketing problem, it's not an eyeball problem, right? And you're just solving price and condition issues. The more listings you're going to get because people see that you sell things quickly and that you market things effectively, and that's half the battle, right? So one of the things with digital staging that I love in Apply Design, so our photographer company, it is $345 to digitally stage 5 photos. And on Apply Design, I can get this down to $7 a photo. So you buy coins, and then you can buy them in bulk. Actually, if I click it, it'll tell you. Yeah, so we buy 20 coins at a time to make it $7. You could buy less coins, and it'll just be an extra couple bucks. But it's still much cheaper than the photographer version. And what I like about this is that I have a little bit more control. Our photographer versions, usually I'll get them back within 24 hours, but the way that they pose it is 48 hours from the time of the appointment. So if my appointment's on a Thursday and now I have to figure out who's going to launch this thing on a Saturday, that's causing a bottleneck in our system, right? And so this has really helped with some of those guaranteed times. When I go in here, what's nice about Apply Design is that I also have the full ability to move every which thing. And if I want to stack some of this stuff, so you can see this is an entire set. And I actually didn't do this one, our listing coordinator did. So she goes in here. She's not a designer. I like it. I like to feel like I'm playing just like little Sims. So I'm like, yes, let me pick my little couch and my cute little painting. Our listing coordinator does not like it. So the cool thing about Apply Design is when you originally upload your photo, it'll ask, do you want us to place everything for you? And you just say yes. And that's what she does. And then she just kind of comes in here and tweaks things. And that's why a lot of these items are grouped together. But I can, if I say, okay, I hate this couch or I hate that chair or whatever. And so if the client comes back and some people are really picky, they would like, some say so, it's really easy to make the swaps. And then you can stack this again with what we were talking about before. So every time I look at a tool, I want to say, how many ways can I use it 900 times? AI Home Design, you can actually, one of the other tools in here, it's a secondary tool that we use, you can add something on the TV and you can add fire in the fireplace. So those are, again, all things that we were paying a photographer to go in and do with Photoshop and crazy fancy stuff that now AI can do. And now I can include that in all my subscriptions. So I'm not having to, keep adding tools for little things. I can double dip across the stack. You launch listings on a Saturday. Can you tell me more about the ration? No, we don't. We don't. And that's just part of that thing that would make people upset. Our owners, so we're co-owned. One of them is an ops girl. She'll step in to do stuff after hours if we need to launch. But part of our process is making sure that we don't do that. And when we get into a hiccup, especially in the market we're in, we can't tell people, well, I mean, I guess you can tell people, but we try to not have to tell people, hey, we're going to have to hinder something with your listing because it falls on a weekend or an evening. And so this has given us the control back to say, okay, I don't have to wait on a photographer to get my digital shots back or my twilight shots back or the things that we know we want syndicating right away. And we can take matters in our own hands. And I mean, normally we can virtually stage a smaller house. I think the last time we ran it, it was like 1,800 square feet, anywhere from 6 to 8 photos takes us less than an hour, because we're using it all through the AI system. So it puts the base of the canvas down and then we just go and tweak. A good question. Good question. Okay, any other questions on these 3 tools?
This isn't the finished product, is it?
No, so you would render from here. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's render it. The rendering just takes a second. I should have definitely had one pulled up so you guys could see. Here, hold on.
Are you saying that, Carrie, because it looks like extremely fake?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's
You
what I was
do-
thinking.
You have to render it. Hold on one second. I do have some sample photos though pulled up.
The rendering, like put us like a red wine stain on the white couch or something, like make it look realistic.
No, it doesn't do that. But again, I do test. I've tested a lot of digital staging products. This is the one that's looked the most realistic to me, mostly because of the shadows is what I've found.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go. All right, we're loading on a different screen here. Let me show you. some befores and afters. This is from our time together in Colorado. So some of you guys might have already seen these pictures. Let me see. Okay, I should have brought one up sooner. I'm sorry about that because yes, it does make a huge difference in being able to see what those render shots look like. Okay. This is one example. This is just what I could pull up, quickly. So this is one example of what a rendered shot looks like. One of the things that I think makes a big difference is that Apply Design has a little checkbox where you can say add enhanced detail. And that helps a lot too, with making it. And again, it's not real staging. So you also have to know what your price point is. Like on our teams, we have like standards and guidelines around digital staging. If it's below our average price point for the zip code, right? And it's a vacant house, or a lot of times what we find ourselves using this for is not for our vacant houses. Our vacant houses, it's easier for our stagers to get in there, do what they need to do it quickly, right? It's when people have decor and we're having to wipe what their current living situation looks like in the living room to put something a little prettier down to stop the scroll to show people what it could look like. And then we'll let them know that this is digitally enhanced, right? So they're not incredibly disappointed when they show up. But it gives people the possibility of how they could use the space versus how it's currently being used right now. Because oftentimes we find that our sellers are not using a space the way that we know it would be the most marketable, right? They're using an office space as a home gym when we know every, house in the neighborhood has an office. So we're going to stage it as an office digitally, right? Without bringing a stager in, because they're actually using it as a gym every single day. So sometimes, most of the time, we're using this for more of like a functionality thing as well.
Got it. Awesome. What else?
Okay. I was about to say, am I out of time or can I keep
No,
going?
you're good. You've got 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so then if we don't have any questions on those are the tools that I would say those are some of the things you can put in your tech stack. Again, to stop the scroll, make your media a little bit more spicy, and then also make sure you're not adding a bunch of costs to that bottom line because no one wants to do that. 2 other things that you can do that are having to do with more language model type stuff is the first one is Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is really cool. It's making its way through kind of the circuit right now of everyone talking about it, the hot topic, because what's different about this compared to a ChatGPT or a Claude or a Perplexity is that Notebook LM is a closed loop, which means whatever I put into Notebook LM and ask my questions based off of, it's only going to use the knowledge that I gave it. It's not going to fill in the gaps with things it found online or what it thinks might be the right next answer, which is half of the problem that you get when you're using some of the bigger language models. And that's what people call hallucinating, right? So you're like, I told it that it was 1,700 square feet, and then it came back and wrote me a description that says 2,000 square feet. It's because it's hallucinating, right? It's taking the information you gave it, but it's also pulling from whatever source it feels like it needs to give you the best product possible. So the cool thing about Notebook LM is that you don't have to do it doesn't pull from anything else. It's only the things that you give it. And you can upload all types of stuff. So you can upload things straight from your Google Drive. You can upload YouTube video links. You can just paste text directly in here, and you can upload PDFs. And then it'll pull all of that together, and you can chat with it. So then at that point, it works just like a regular ChatGPT, right? There are other things that you can do. If you're on a team model, or if you own a market center, or if you're in leadership and you're in the business of training other people up, we use Notebook LM to put all of our processes and procedures. So all the things that you used to call your ops manuals, we put them into Notebook LM, and then people can go and compare their listings across it. And they can say, okay, based on the procedures that the Kimberly Davis group says works best for writing descriptions for listing agreements, I need a listing description on this house, right? And so they can go do that. We also load like our objection handlers in here because really Notebook LM is a learning tool. It was made for students in college. So they have flashcard capabilities in here. They have podcast capabilities in here where you can actually listen to information on a little podcast that it'll create based on what you uploaded. So we use it primarily on our team as a learning tool, and then our listing coordinator uses it again to cross-reference. So she'll take our MLS sheets and put them in here so that way she can tell cohesive stories, and our marketing person will do that as well so they can tell cohesive stories. And this helps specifically in things like our newsletter. We're not just talking about the one house we have listed in Plano. We're talking about the 4 houses that we have listed in Plano. We're talking about it in context of Plano as a whole. And so we're able to grab so much content out of that that highlights our 4 homes, but it isn't primarily or solely about those 4 homes. Does that make sense? Are y'all with me? Couple of other examples how to apply this tool. Yeah, so I would say the biggest one is, and again, it really depends on who your audience is. If you're a single agent, I would say it's exactly what I just talked about with the marketing angle, right? Figuring out, because what I could do here is I could add 4 of my MLS sheets for my listings in Plano. I could go to YouTube and get the 5 highest performing videos on Plano and link them in here because I'm going to use all that knowledge and information that they gave as well. I could paste in here maybe the Plano newsletter that they sent out last week from the county, right? I'm just going to put as much information as Plano. And if I'm a solo agent and my biggest angle is marketing, I'm going to make a Plano one. I'm going to make well, let's think of Colorado areas. I'm going to make a Denver one. I'm going to make a Vail one, right? I'm going to have all these notebook LMs built out for those specific areas so I can create so much content around it when I have a listing or an area I'm trying to saturate. If I am, oh, Russ? You say anything? Okay. If I am in the business of educating other people, so again, team leaders, mentors, anything like that, coaching programs, then I'm going to use Notebook LM to build out my systems and processes that people can go ask questions to instead of having to come to me. So if I upload my, so for example, we have an expired playbook on our team. It's like the most accessed thing right now. We have an expired playbook on our team. It's old and it's been updated every year. So as the times change, we just keep adding to it. So on the back end, on the leadership side, it's very little updating, right? It's an easy lift to just keep that playbook up to date and relevant as our systems and process changes, what you should say, what's working well right now, why we're different than other teams, how we market a listing differently, what being a data-driven agent sounds like. All of that goes into our Notebook LM. And then our agents can access it and they can ask it specific questions while they're preparing for their own listing appointment. How do we say this? What's our objection handler for this? Why is our marketing better than, the marketing of the team down the street? And instead of having to come ask me and pop into my room 100 million times, they can ask Notebook LM. And remember, the important thing here is that it's a closed loop. So it's not pulling from all the blogs that talk about expireds, right? Or ChatGPT, which is trained on data and what it thinks you should do as an agent based on expireds. It's only pulling from our sources because we upload it into here.
Aly, if I have 4 listings in Plano and I load those into Notebook LM, and then I go to YouTube and I load in the top 5 best performing, what did you say, videos about Plano?
Yep.
And the newsletter. And I've got all this in there. Then do I go to Notebook LM and say, now how do I market my listing? Is that what you do last? I mean, is that like the result we're looking for?
Yes, you can ask it anything at that point. So what I want you to take from Notebook LM is that you're building a knowledge base and a brain that is super hyper specific. And then you can ask it anything. How can I market my next Plano listing? Here are the stats on it. It's coming soon. How can I create a video reel where people are highly engaged and likely to comment based on why you should live in Plano instead of the other suburbs in Dallas? You can ask it anything at that point because you created your own little closed loop brain. And that's the part that is important because you can do something similar on ChatGPT with custom GPTs, but you can't link YouTube videos. you're doing a smorgasbord of, if you don't have everything nice and neat and ready to upload as a PDF into a custom GPT, you're doing a lot of legwork to just get it ready. Notebook LM kind of removed that barrier. So you can just kind of throw it all in here. You can just paste a bunch of different stuff in here too. So if you're building out this brain, and I have now, okay, a little Notebook LM of Plano, every time I see a Plano caption that I like, I'm just going to go actually paste it into my brain. Every time I come past something I like about Plano or news that's going on, I'm going to screenshot it and put it in my brain. So that way, when I have a listing in that area, I go to that brain to help me figure out what's my marketing angle, what am I talking about, what's worked in the past.
Wow.
So it's
And
like
that-
you're building a foundation of all of your very best work that doesn't need any tweaking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
How much?
Yep. Someone said, how much is this? So if you're on a Google Workspace account, we haven't hit any limits with it. So Google is, and I want to put a little caveat here, they're consistently adding to the AI sources that they're giving you access to. So Notebook LM is included for now, and Gemini, parts of it is included for now. Now, they try to put it behind an additional paywall. It didn't work. So then they opened it up to anyone that had a Workspace account. So again, don't quote me on those because those things seem to be changing. If you are not on a paid account, you can use Notebook LM. There are some restrictions where it'll cut you off. So you can't have like 1 million notebooks and you can't have a ton of sources. But like this is a free account. That's why I like to show you guys on my accounts that aren't my team accounts because they're always the free version. And this one, you can go up to 50 sources and you can do at least 1 notebook. I think you can get up to 3 the last time that I tried it without having to go behind a paywall.
Are our at KW accounts paid accounts? I mean, I know they're paid accounts,
They
but
are. I'm not sure what the Workspace settings are because we have our team as a branded account. But if they're not and you wanted to have a paid account, you might be able to upgrade it just on your own. Google's also been releasing a lot of a la carte AI costs recently. You can tell they're definitely playing with their model and trying to figure out what's going to be the sweet spot.
going back to the staging, Rod wanted to know if you can remove ugly furniture to put in the nice stuff.
Yes. Yes, you can, thankfully. And you can do it all in Apply Design. Let me see. Oh, it's telling us our rendering is ready for view. When you upload your image, I'm just going to upload. Okay, this is just what I have on my desktop. It's not even a house. Actually, I don't know if that'll work. Hold on 1 second. Let me try to take something blank. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Just so I can at least show you guys what it looks like when you go to upload the photo for the first time. And I can also record like a little loom on this, Russ, too, of actually going through the process. It'll be a little bit longer, but then you can feel free to send it out to anyone.
Ooh, that would be awesome. We would love that.
Okay. So for example, I'm just going to take this is a picture of one of my listings. It actually wasn't professionally staged, but it looks like it was because our sellers did a really good job. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you go to upload a design. So let me go back to home so you can see where we are. I'm just going to go to upload images. I'm going to drag and drop my house or however many pictures I want, and I'm going to check remove items. Now I'm not actually going to do it because it's going to charge me the coin and I want to be able to get it back, but I'm going to check remove items and I'm going to check auto stage. When I do that, I get this little drop down box and this is how I can tell it what it is. So this is just a bedroom.
Right.
It's going to ask me for my style and it'll give you some examples of different styles that you can do. And you can also drop down here as well. We tend to switch between contemporary and modern and traditional, depending on, and we like to go based on the color of the floor. So if the floor is a dark color, we want all of our furniture to be a light color. If our floor is a light color, we want all of our furniture to be a little bit darker to create that contrast because that's what the eye stops and looks at, whether they're interested in the house or not, which is funny.
Yeah.
So then I
love
can
that.
say I want this bedroom done, and then I can do that for all of my photos, and then they'll all come together at one time. And then again, I can make swaps. So that's the nice thing, is that I'm not stuck in that option once I say remove items. The other thing that I really like about Apply Design is down here, they have this little help bubble, which is just like an AI bot. But if you tell it, I did this photo and it's super ugly and I'm not going to use this, can I delete it? They'll give you your coins back. So we do this a lot. If we're not sure, sometimes there's a really complicated room and we don't know if when it pulls all the furniture out, if it's going to do any weird shadow kind of stuff. We'll try it and then we'll just tell them, hey, this looks super janky. Can you give us our stuff back? Because we're not going to use it. And they've always done a really good job of playing nice with us on that.
Love it. All right. Aly, we are out of time.
Perfect.
This was super helpful.
Yay.
Did everyone get something out of this that you can actually use? Like, good.
Yes.
You blew my mind with Notebook LM. I've sat through 3 presentations about that, and every time I get to the end, I'm like, now what do I do with it? So this was super helpful. I really appreciate your time today.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. Colorado has a place of my heart. So if y'all ever need anything, you just let me know.
All right. Thank you, Aly. And we'll look for that loom later. Thank you so much for that. I'll send it out. Hey, stay tuned. We've got a Market Center website launching in Q1. We're working on it every single day. If you have a drone type video of a luxury home or an impressive home, we want that content because we are looking to this is our demo that we're working through. We are looking to make sure that when people go to our website, they see something that has movement rather than just static. So we are looking for your site, any kind of movement videos that you have. By the way, this is kind of our general look. This website is going to be map based so that people can that are looking to buy in Kremling can click on Kremling or Granby and click on Granby or Eagle or Vail or whatever, Estes Park. We're putting this together. So we're looking for your videos of drone videos of luxury homes. Next week, we're going to launch BrokerBot. While Aly was talking, I was playing with this, and this tool, folks, remember, is going to be I think it's a little bit like Notebook LM. So we are training it with our knowledge base and it's going to use our websites that we approve in order to make sure that your questions can get answered quickly. About how to sell more real estate, about what's going on with short-term rentals, about questions that you might have about contracts. This isn't going to replace our brokers because obviously they're the experts in things, but this might help you with a little tweak on some language or with some strategies. And you can ask it all sorts of questions. It's going to be a one-stop shop for the most basic things, and it's going to take your call at 2 a.m. even though Will and Eric are not going to take your call at 2 a.m. Right, Will? Yeah, he's smiling. The following week, we'll have no session due to ALC clinic. And then Jenny Woolick is going to be talking. It says market share there, and I don't know why it says that. She's going to be talking about some strategies to help us get some more listings, which we're excited about. And we look forward to seeing you next time on The Lift. Have a great day, everybody. Talk soon.